All right. Thank you for standing by, my friends. We'll see if we can accomplish something halfway decent now. And yeah, Sparrow, I think, pretty sure, I don't know. I think all schools in the U.S. Provide a lunch. It's not always free. I don't really know the details of how it. I don't really know how the details of how it all works. Go. But at least when I was in school, it was always it was an expected thing that you would be provided a lunch part of the way through the day. What is going on? I can't hit the buttons in sync. I still can't. I don't know what's... Is my controller not plugged in? Hey, Travesty, thank you for the resub. Thank you for the 7 months. It's very generous of you, my friend. I appreciate it. Oh. I'm not prepared. Yeah, the problem is I keep hitting the select button instead of the start button. I'm not prepared. I thought I would come back refreshed and more alert, and I've come back foggier than ever. You're the same Adult Swim dude, right? I think you might be confusing me with someone else. I have very little experience with Adult Swim and Cartoon Network in general. We did play a a bit of a Harvey Birdman game on the stream once, though. If that's what you're thinking of. I think the only Adult Swim show that I've seen a significant amount of is Aqua Teen Hunger Force. When I was in high school, my buddy used to buy those DVDs, and I would watch those with him. That was a pretty dumb show. I think we'll do a no reset run this time. Even if the run dies, I'm gonna not reset and just go through the whole game anyway, just to get away from these first few levels for a while. Those two power-ups right there are giving me an awful lot of trouble. Thank you for the Hydrate Tuesday. I could use that. I was just thinking, so I said I didn't eat the school lunch very often. I usually brought my own lunch, and that was true up until high school. It was pretty rare that I would eat the lunch that the school provided before then, and mostly it was because I didn't like the side dishes that they would offer. That was always a frightening prospect, like something like broccoli and cheese or macaroni and cheese. Anything with cheese I would become terrified of, or like I don't know, like a loaded potato or something. So, I mean, I didn't like the entree, most of the entrees either. But even if I did like an entree, even if they did make an entree that I would like, I still wouldn't want to eat it because I wouldn't like the sides that came with it. So it was always very unlikely that I was going to want to eat the school lunch. I'd rather just have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a piece of fruit, or whatever my parents packed for me. So I would kind of just eat the same kind of things every day. But when I was in high school, I started eating the school lunch every day because every day they offered an option to get a cheeseburger. Like they would have whatever the regular meal was, but they would also have burgers and fries. And so I went from never eating the school lunch to eating only the school lunch, but I ate the same thing every day. Toward the end there, I used to actually go home for lunch. That wouldn't have really been a viable option. It did me good. I walked to and from school twice a day. Well, see, it wouldn't have worked for me because, like, my, especially in high school, well, there was only one high school for the whole county, and because it was the one high school for the whole county, it was kind of located in between all the cities in the county. And so it's like out in the middle of nowhere. Like there would be nowhere you could walk to from the school. It was basically just cornfields as far as the eye can see outside of every window. To be fair, it was basically just cornfields as far as the eye can see out of the windows of most houses. Every other building. What am I doing? What am I doing? That one gun is making me so angry. I don't know why I keep... Things are going wrong there, and I don't know why. I don't know what I've started doing differently that's making me not able to get through that part. Like I said, not gonna reset, and technically, you know, I don't think I've missed a power-up yet, right? So we still have a slim possibility for a 1cc if everything goes really well. So let's keep positive. No, I missed a power-up. Ah, it's all ruined. The run is dead. All of my hopes and dreams. Shattered by Super C. Those aliens that circle you in the midpoint of this level, I feel like if they were green, they would look a lot like those aliens from The Simpsons. I think those are green. I guess I can have that hydrate now. All right. Come on, stage 7. Not gonna reset, but I am gonna use my continues here on stage 7 for the extra practice at the Evil Twins. It's been a while since we've been here. I'm scared. Next layer down. Here we go. Victory. We got him. If we do nothing else of value tonight, it doesn't matter because I've learned a strategy for collecting those 2 power-ups. This whole practice session was worth it just for that. Now I just need consistency. No. I'm already consistent. Consistently terrible. Where are they? They're supposed to show up on this floor. I think. They tried to bamboozle me, but we're 2 for 2. Can you imagine I practice this so much and then I'm like... I practice... Like, I do this practice, but I do it like this, where I'm using the continues on purpose, and then I finally get a run that's, like, alive, and I make it to this point, and out of habit, I purposely die to the scorpions and ruin it. Wouldn't that just be the worst of all possible worlds? That enemy disappeared into the floor. That's normal. The enemy disappearing into the floor? I wasn't ready for it. Growing up, the only Contra game I had was Alien Wars on the Game Boy. I loved it, but I never beat it. So I actually have a copy of that game myself. I haven't played it yet, but it is on the to-do list. I'd like to do, ideally I'd like to do all the Contra games on the stream at some point. All of them that I can, anyway. There are a couple that aren't really possible for me to stream because of hardware limitations, but everything up through the PS2 era, I think I'll be able to do at some point. Did we get them both that time, too? That makes 3 for 3. That's perfect. That's the best I've ever done if we just did it 3 for 3. Best practice, at any rate. So far, I've only played the original Contra and this one. I played a little bit of Operation C on the Game Boy, but I haven't beaten it yet. So I'm not really counting that one yet. But we'll get through a lot of them over time. I've been purposely holding off on playing the Contra games. I want to do, like, I've been doing these little challenges for some of them, and I've been saving other games in the series until I finish up with the challenge runs I want to do. It's kind of like it gives me it gives me more time to enjoy each game individually if I do it that way. I think if I just sort of sat down and like played them all back to back in a rush, I wouldn't appreciate them in the same way. Is sort of the fear. Bubsy 3D. I thought I remembered that you were a Bubsy fan. I've got Bubsy 1 on the Genesis and Bubsy 2 on the Super Nintendo. Those are the only ones I have, though. I haven't played them. I haven't played either of them yet. My cousin had Bubsy 1 on the SNES when we were kids. But I didn't play it very much. Bubsy 1 on Genesis is the best. The only thing that's bad about the fire weapon is that you can, if you're like me and you can't help yourself and you fire your weapon all the time, even when it's not necessary, you can end up in a situation where you have too many projectiles active on the screen and you can't fire another one for a few seconds. And you can end up in a situation where those few seconds line up with an enemy running right at you and you can't defend yourself. That's the only, that's the biggest problem. You can actually do that. You can actually do that with a couple of the weapons in the game, but with the fire weapon, it's more noticeable. And it's not really a flaw with the fire weapon. necessarily. It's more of a flaw of the way I play, but it's something to make a note about. I think about that sometimes, and how when I was a kid and had limited selection, I rarely got new games. I basically enjoyed every game I got just because it was a game. Yeah, there's something like really true about that. You know, I was the same way. I didn't have a tremendous collection of games when I was a kid. I had maybe around like 10 games for each system I owned. You know, some of them I had more, some of them I had less. But that would be a good sort of estimate. About 10 games per console. And then most of them, you know, that I experienced that I didn't own, it would be through rentals or from borrowing them from friends. Like I mentioned, I said I had a cousin who had Bubsy. One of my cousins, he had a lot of games. He had a big collection, like, you know, like maybe like 100 games per console. Which I know a lot of people have bigger collections than that, but when you only have 10, 100 seems like a really big number. So I would borrow games from him a lot. Rented Bubsy a lot, Power Rangers too. Yeah, I rented a lot of games, but I very rarely rented the same game more than once. My parents were heavily discouraged me ever renting the same thing more than once. Um, they didn't want to spend money on a duplicate rental. Similar for me, on rare occasions, I got to rent a game. It was a big choice with almost no information to go on most of the time. Yeah, you've got the you you you. If you're lucky, you know they had the box you could look at the at the rental store on display to learn something about the game. But yeah, I feel like most of the things I rented, I felt like it was very rare for me to like really be amazed by the things I rented. I feel like I rented more bad games than good games. That probably explains why I remember Virtual Bart so fondly. One of the few games you had. I've never played that one. That's sorry to hear, travesty. Unfortunately, I think a lot of parents can be like that. I mean, even good parents are like that from time to time. One of the few games I hired from Blockbuster. Oh, so one of the few games you rented. Yeah, I would. My folks were always if I tried to get the same game past them twice, they would tell me no, you've already played that one. You need to go get something else. All right, well, I made it all the way through the game. Rented, poor choice of words. I gotcha. A lot of Mortal Kombat 2 when I was 8. My friends are always more into fighting games than I was. I've never really big into fighting games. Except the only fighting game the fighting game I've played the most is Ultraman Toward the Future. And it's not even like it's a and you can't deny it's a fighting game. It's a one-on-one fighter, but like it doesn't even have a versus mode. It's a single player only fighting game. It's terrible. But I had it when I was a kid, so I loved it. That's my best example of that. Like, I had a limited selection of games, so I loved the games I had. Ultraman Toward the Future. That was probably the worst game I owned. Never got into fighting controls until Soul Calibur 2. I guess Ultraman and Smash Brothers. But Smash Brothers, you know, I don't really think of Smash Brothers as a fighting game. I think of it more as a party game. MK says I've been getting into Street Fighter V lately. I did play Street Fighter 4, but only very casually. When I lived in Korea, all my coworkers were really into Street Fighter 4, so I kind of had to get into it a little bit. There was no escape. All right, I'm gonna treat myself to a piece of chocolate, and then we're gonna try for another run. Ultraman on SNES is my least favorite game of all time. That's the one I was just talking about. The one I said is terrible, but I love it. That's the one, Ultraman Toward the Future on SNES. I can definitely see not liking it. Can you live in Korea and not like anime? I suppose. I mean, I'm I gotta say I never really got bit by the anime bug. I'm not very experienced with it at all. I've seen a little bit of a few different anime, but I don't know. That's another thing. It's another one of those things that, like, a lot of my friends got into it, but for whatever reason, I just never did. That same buddy I mentioned that I used to watch the Elm Street movies with, he got really into anime. Most of the anime that I've seen is because I would go over to his place to hang out, and he would always have some kind of anime on. Sparrow said I liked anime as a kid, then I grew up. Ouch. Yeah, people tried to get me into sports when I was a kid, but I never gained much of an interest in sports. I was on my basketball team in middle school for 1 year, and that was about it. I enjoy cartoons occasionally, not usually anime, Sparrow says. Hey. Horse challenge? You definitely beat me. The only benefit, the only good thing about me being on the basketball team, because, like, I'm not particularly fast, I'm not particularly well coordinated, but I'm like 6 feet tall, and I've been this height, like, since I was in middle school. So I was like 2 feet taller than everyone else on the team. So that was my one big advantage. I grew really tall really young. I am the worst. Growing up is a trap, MK says. I still watch anime and defy the laws of normalization. That's the secret to a happy life, right? That's a secret to a long and happy life. You have to stay young at heart. At least I hope that's true. Otherwise, what am I spending all this time playing video games for? Hey, Zinshan, welcome in. Thank you for the raid. Good luck, stream. I need some luck, Zinshan. I'm struggling. Thank you very much for dropping in. Thank you for bringing your friends by. And welcome, friends of Zinshan. A friend of Zinshan is a friend of mine. How did your stream go? What were you, let us know, what were you doing tonight? I can't proclaim to really know anything about basketball. I played it when I was in middle school because it was the sport that was available. It was something to do. That was the only sports team my school had, was a basketball team. But I've never watched a basketball game. Even when I played, I wasn't really interested. I wasn't really interested in the sport. I just did it because I don't even know why. It was something to do. It was kind of fun, but it wasn't. I don't regret doing it, but it didn't get me hooked. And then when I was in high school, you know, there was a lot of different sports teams, but I wasn't interested in joining any of them. They always were trying to get me to join the football team. All the teachers would try to talk me into being on the football team. I did compete on the academic team in my high school, though. They see I was such a big nerd that I voluntarily went to school on the weekend to do extra tests. It was good. I beat Gauntlet. Congratulations. Right on. Those Gauntlet games, I mean, I've only played the one on the N64, but it was a lot of fun. I would be open to playing more Gauntlet at some point. I'm getting too hasty. Want to play it again with the other characters eventually? I can't say that I got that into it. Always good at sports, but I wasn't popular, so folks wouldn't pass me the ball. Oh, man. I myself have never suffered from the curse of popularity. Whoa. Oh, I gotta do better. I only played with the warrior, but I would play it again in maybe a year. I'd try it again with another character. Yeah, I only played with the warrior on my playthrough too. Oh well, I mean, Kind of. I started with the warrior, but very early on I switched to the minotaur, who is, from all I can tell, it was just the warrior with a different skin. I don't think there's any significant difference between the warrior and the minotaur, but... I can't imagine the change of a character would be enough to want to draw me back into the same one I've already played. But maybe, like you said after a year, maybe after if I wait long enough, if I wait long enough, I may get the urge to play it again, and I should probably be a different character if I do. But I think I'd be more interested in playing a different game in the series long before I'd be interested in replaying one. Just because I spent a lot of, also because I spent a lot of time kind of grinding. "16 hours on the game is enough." Don't let me distract you. No worries, Travesty. If I can't handle playing the game and reading the chat, that's not the chat's fault. That's my fault. I love Space Jam. Maybe that's why I joined the basketball team. Maybe that's at the heart of my decision to play basketball for a year. I saw Space Jam and it inspired me. So for anyone who's just if you've just come in, I'm working on a challenge run of this game right now. I'm trying to beat it. I'm trying to beat it with collecting all the items in the game. We're going for an all items run, and hopefully, you know, the eventual goal is to do it deathless. But just completing a run where I don't miss any of the items has been very difficult. I had Carnage as a kid on SNES. I should have got this. I don't know if I know that game. Is it a shooter like this? Like a platforming sort of a shooter? I think Maximum Carnage is the Spider-Man game, right? Did I really not die? I thought I ran into that enemy. Top-down shooter. Oh, is it a Total Carnage? Like the Smash TV game? I do think I know that. I do think I know the one you're talking about. I've never played it though. I've only played Smash TV. And not well. Those games are hard. Oh no. Yeah, I haven't played that one. I've only played the one before it. I mean, they're not really a series, but I think they're made by the same people and they're kind of similar in their gameplay. Never beat the second level. I mean, if it's anything like if it's as much like Smash TV as I expected, just making it to the second level is a tremendous achievement. Those games are so hard. Oh, hang on. I'm sorry, I'm not ready to start this just yet. I don't think I had anyone here to shout out Zinchan, and I was occupied, but I definitely want to make sure that I put a link there in the chat so that anyone who's not following Zinchan can help themselves out with that there. No worries, Sparrow. I appreciate all you do for us, my friend. There's no need to feel guilty about going AFK. All Classics Gaming, good to see you. I hope you're having a good weekend. I'm having a rough time at Super C. I've been playing it for like 5 hours now, and I've made some progress. I've learned a few. I've learned well, really only one. I've learned one very important trick, but it's the trick that's going to eventually make the run for us. So when I say very important, I really mean it. But I've been struggling to have good runs for the past like 2 hours. Super nervous about today. I hope is it Silver Surfer that has you nervous? Didn't get the performance you want. I mean, if you stick with it, I'm sure you will. You've beaten some pretty hard games. Want to beat it? I don't think I'll beat it this weekend. I've never even played Silver Surfer. I just know its reputation as brutally difficult. I might give it a go sometime myself, but I think I need to play some other shooters first. I don't think I necessarily want to dive in with something so difficult. I haven't played a whole lot of sort of shoot 'em up style games. You beat Super Double Dragon? Right on. I've not played that one, but I played the first Double Dragon. I can't imagine that's easy. Hats off to you, Travesty. I'm afraid to play another Double Dragon game. The first one was so hard. It took me a very long time to beat just the first one. Super Double Dragon's easy. People just complain about the frame rates these days. It's a fun game. Kid Cool had me in tears of rage. I haven't been that angry in a while. Yeah, I don't know that I don't think I want to play that game. That game sounds pretty rough. Kid Cool is impossible. Guilty as charged. Sparrow likes his frame rates. Late game Castlevania 3 is very frustrating on Loop 2. Yeah, I've only done the first Castlevania for 2 loops. I don't like Loop 2 on Castlevania. One of the things that I really like about Castlevania is that it feels like it's really, like, precisely designed. And I feel like Loop 2 just sort of throws all of that out the window. And it's frustrating. Because they just, like... there's just a whole bunch of enemy spam in parts of Loop 2 that... I don't know, it takes the fun away. Got the good ending, but it's not worth it. Loops are trash. There's usually... It's hard to... Yeah. Can't really think of... I mean, I love the Ghosts and Goblins games, and those require 2 loops. But I can't really think of a lot of games where the extra loops sort of add a whole lot to it. That's worthwhile. I did, I think 8 loops in Contra. I was doing a playthrough to see how many loops I could complete on 1 credit, and I did 8, but and it was kind of fun just playing a lot of Contra, but there's really not a whole lot of point to the extra loops. The only thing that I think changes in the extra loops of Contra is the last stage. The sub-boss and the final boss on the last stage of Contra get a little harder on each loop, but I don't think anything else changes at all. It sure didn't seem like it. My game go-to is Power Rangers for a relaxing time after work. If I want to play a game just to unwind, my go-to right now is usually Pac-Man 99. If I just want to like, I want to just pick something up, turn my brain off, and unwind for a little while. My Switch is in my living room, and so it's the only game console I have available to me upstairs. So I throw in Pac-Man 99. It's pretty stressful, so I don't know why I play it to unwind. I'm not very good at it. I can win sometimes, but I can almost always make it to like the final 10. I'm really good at lasting up until the end, but the last few other players, it's always give me a hard time. Cool. I don't think I've ever skipped those, I don't think I've ever skipped those guns like that before. I always stop and take them out. But I figured since I'd already died, why not take a risk and do something different? Loop 2 CB3 changes the game in minor ways. Change how fast the bats are, and the Medusa heads are replaced with skulls. No! Ah, I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I was really hoping that we might get a 1cc. And I went and missed a power up. This game's hard enough. Why'd I have to make it so much harder on myself? That's like picking up Tony Hawk 2 to get a high score. I haven't played very much of the Tony Hawk games. I played one of them on the PlayStation, or no, the N64, I think. A little bit with a friend a couple times, but I was trash at it. Alright, so this run is dead, so again, we're going to practice this stage. I heard some of that about Halo 2. Apparently there's a bounty out for the challenge run on that, and someone got like $20,000. Think, wow, I wish I was good at Halo 2. I'm not even good at Super C though. I'm tempted to try for free. Alright, victory. That part right there where I just got those two items, that's the part that's been giving me the most trouble. And that's what we did tonight, was I worked out a strategy for collecting those two items. It's not pretty, but it works. Some of the time. And that's better than none, because before tonight, I had never gotten both, I'd never successfully collected both of those items. So, that's a big win for us that we have a strategy now. A semi-reliable strategy. Okay, we'll practice it again. So I'm thinking that we've gotten to a point. I was talking before about how I might have to practice this. That I was going to need to practice this off stream with some save states. But I don't think I'm going to need to. I think we've gotten as good as I'm going to get at it. So that's nice. Two for two. Oh, wait, I need to try, it's not, I was so excited. I was so excited about doing a good job that I forgot I'm supposed to be practicing. I need to practice it every chance I get. There's no, we don't get here often. Try doing a no-death run of Battletoads? Is that even possible? You're never gonna beat my score of 24 million at the airplane on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 without cheating. I think I'd be scared to even try. 24 million is that's a big number. It's gonna drive you crazy. It's gonna be one of the hardest games of all time to no death run. All Classics doesn't really like don't really like sports games. I'm not really big into sport-based games for the most part. Unless they have some like sort of like crazy gimmick to them, like a Mario sports game or something, where they're not very realistic. But even then, I don't play a whole lot of them. 1cc took you 16 to 17 days to finally 1cc. I don't know how long most of my challenges take me to do, because I don't usually work on them I don't usually work on them like back to back. Like I'll practice like one day a week sometimes for a challenge that I'm doing, or sometimes even less. So it can be really difficult for me to remember how many times I've practiced. But I've probably been I've probably been working on this for at least that many days. Don't hate on Madden. Two weeks to beat Kid Cool. Yeah, I don't do the constant grind kind of thing very often. I did a little bit when I first started like doing these challenges on the stream, but I would do them more regularly, but I don't know. I've moved away from that for whatever reason. I feel kind of guilty sometimes if I play too much of the same thing. I have I've got some people who are good enough to show up for the stream, several nights a week, and I feel really bad if sometimes if they show up and it's just the same thing every time. And I don't really play stuff. I don't really play a whole lot off stream. So that's why that's why my practice sessions get spread out. Because if I was playing off stream, you know, I could still just practice every day. But that's the second time I've done that. Missed that jump like that. That's really bad. Battletoads is a game you have to play a lot to get good at the game overall. I believe it. Like I said, I've never played it, but I'm kind of familiar with its reputation. I know a few things about it. We'll see. I'll get to it someday. I don't know if I'm gonna like it enough to do challenge runs of it, but we'll see. If I like it a lot, I might. That's kind of what it's all about for me. Like, I have to like the game. I have to like the game a whole lot to want to do runs of it. I'm not really interested in grinding for achievements in games in games that annoy me. I wouldn't have the patience to master Kid Cool or something like that. Someone you know says CB3 is easy, but gave up on Battletoads after level 2. Well, I mean, it depends, too. Depends on what your natural skill set is and things like that. All right, my friends. I think maybe we should wrap the stream up. I've been having a good time, but I think I'm wearing down. We've made some progress. Like I said, we've learned how to conquer the greatest challenge of the run. All right, that section with the evil twins, and we can do that now. So that means we should have hope that we'll be able to pull off the run. It'd be nice to be able to do it at sometime sooner rather than later, but I can't make any promises. Thanks, Frownie. Thank you for being here, Boat Ladder. I appreciate you. Just looking at the seeing who's live, gonna point us in the in a raid, in the direction of a raid. Cheers, Frownie. See you next time. See you around, Sparrow. Thank you for joining us. All right, my friends, I'm gonna push us in the direction of the Combat King. TKK is a really great guy. He's got a wonderful stream. He does a lot of retro stuff. Does a lot of arcade stuff. I think of him as a real like arcade focused guy. Though that you never want to limit anyone, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that I think of them as like there's one thing that I really go to him for, and for him it's arcade stuff. But we'll go over there and hang out in his stream. Title says he was doing some Alien versus Predator, but I don't think that's what he's playing right now. But thank you for being here, my friends. I probably won't be around tomorrow. Usually don't stream on Saturdays. Likely I'll be back on Sunday. I think we'll have a Sunday stream next week, but we probably won't have a Monday one. Next week, we're going to pick up something on the Sega Genesis. I'm not sure what yet, but we're definitely going to play there. Like to do some more C64 if I can get my gamepad working. We're still working on Pikmin 2. We'll do more Super C runs. So some of the things you might expect. We're also going to go back to our Jank Games marathon. So expect to see more Scooby Doo and more Powerpuff Girls trash. But be well, my friends. Thank you one last time. And now it's time to head out. Let's go on an adventure.